Everyone, thank you so much for joining. I am Sam Chandler. I am in charge of commercial customer success here at Kustomer, and I am thrilled to have one of my absolute favorite colleagues in the whole world. I don't say that to everybody. This one is special. I mean it. But Ryan Shirk is here with me today, and he is going to give a little bit of his perspective on AI and creating successful rollouts for AI and his framework for it. So, Ryan, thank you so much. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you love building AI frameworks so much.
Sure. Yeah, thanks, Sam. Happy to be here today. So just a bit of an intro. So Ryan Shirk, I'm a principal CSM here at Kustomer. And I've really spent the past 10 years or so in conversational AI and working with some of the world's largest brands in their AI journey and specifically their transformation in digital. If I could give just a quick high-level view of my point of view on AI, things have changed a lot over the past couple years. AI is becoming very commoditized in terms of the models being used. So we're all kind of using very similar models today with OpenAI and such. And the secret sauce has moved from the model to a prescriptive, thought out process and strategy in implementing AI into the contact center.
That is so true. It's so funny how people forget that really the important part of adopting any product or rolling out any initiatives is the actual rollout and getting everybody on the same page. I would love to hear, tell us, what do you see as the keys to a successful rollout, specifically with AI? What have you seen work really well?
Yeah, definitely. So number one is to have a strategic plan in place. So you're kind of taking a crawl, walk, run approach to establishing your AI journey and really introducing it into your contact center is crucial. Number two is clean data. So without a data strategy, there's really no AI strategy. And so starting kind of foundationally with a clean data source and data structure is really crucial to a successful AI rollout.
Oh, people forget about that data part. AI is not set and forget, and you are absolutely correct there. Thinking of it in terms of that, where do you see most customer experience organizations falling short on rolling these things out? What are the common mistakes that you see made?
Yeah, absolutely. I think at this point, I think everyone knows that they want AI and they want to turn AI on across their business. But where I've seen companies fail is kind of trying to use an easy button approach where they kind of come in, they turn it on across the board without any real strategy and without making sure that their data sources are completely clean. And ultimately that ends to failure, right? Because the AI is leveraging bad data, maybe old data or antiquated. As it's implemented, then you're not getting the results that you're wanting to get out of the AI. That, and then also making sure that success criteria is built for each phase, and you have a clean way of kind of measuring the success and the impact on the business.
I love that. The adoption element, people think about it and they're like, why isn't this working? Nobody's using it. It must not work very well. And you think about those elements that of the planning process that most organizations don't think about. Makes total sense.
Right.
Well, luckily they have you to think about that for them, because you have an amazing framework that you have developed through working with all of these companies. Walk us through this. Tell us about this framework and how it came to be, and the key components of it.
Sure, absolutely. So I kind of mentioned before, but really this framework that I built out is based on a crawl, walk, run approach to implementing AI in your contact center, a very prescriptive approach that, again, back to the success criteria, we're defining success criteria for each phase, and we make sure that we have a very clear path to measuring the success of it or the failure of it. So the crawl aspect of it is what a customer calls AI agents for reps. So this includes things like Copilot, smart write tools, and conversation summaries. So these are all this is all internal facing AI that is essentially not being showed to the end consumer, but only to the agents and internal staff. And what it really does is it understands a customer's context based on previous inquiries that they've had into the company. It understands things, stored data in customer, things like recent orders, returns, cart details, things like that. It also allows you to connect to FAQs, so internal FAQs that helps to surface the right content to the right agent at the right time. And then, last but not least, to the point of summary. So it generates summaries of context for each conversation, and post it to the customer's timeline. As far as the next step would be considered walk. So that's everything from the crawl step into the second step or the walk step. So this is really where you spend some extra time looking at the results. You make sure that the data is fine-tuned and cleaned up, including your FAQs. Make sure that the AI agents are actually producing valuable information to the reps. And this is also a step 2 where you're introducing tasks into the mix. And so while there's still a safeguard of a human sitting between the task completion and the end consumer, we are allowing the AI to interact with back-end systems and essentially offer up a task, for example, like an order or account management system, or let's say a return, things like that. So it will offer that up as a solution to the agent, but ultimately the agent then decides, do I want to execute this task or do I want to leave it and continue to interact with the consumer? We move to the run stage, doing fully automated tasks and executing them from start to finish. So the AI will now have two-way integration into your backend systems via APIs. And so they'll be able to not only pull data, query for data, but also post data to endpoints and to third-party systems. And also those tasks that I mentioned in the walk phase, the AI will actually be able to make a decision. Do I execute this task? Do I return this order? Do I, process a cancellation or a password reset? Those types of things. So that's kind of really at a very high level. That's kind of the framework that I've built out and used in the past with customers and have seen great results.
This is amazing. This makes me think of two things. The first one is I think about the number one frustration that customers always talk about with support, and that is having to repeat themselves. And so your framework includes all of this metadata that customers are expecting us to have anyway and to utilize. So I love that. And I love the fact that, I think about trust. And the main thing that I hear when I talk to executives in the CX space and CCOs is, we don't trust it to give the answer yet. They're afraid of giving AI that much leeway. And so your framework of this crawl to walk to run, it allows people to test out the waters, get that trust built up with their team with an AI component like AI agents for reps that speaks to the agent and allows them to do their job better and builds that trust with them. So this is really an awesome framework.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree.
Yeah. So, we both know that there are organizations in this world that are much more adept at bringing a plan to life than others. Talk to me about what it takes to get an AI rollout from the crawl stage into the walk stage. Is there a certain amount of time or team members, like different tech stacks? Can anybody do this, or does it take a certain amount of resources to get this right?
Yeah, good question. I think, so again, back to the data piece. So if you're fully addressing your data and making sure that it's very clean, up to date, and usable in phase 1, phase 2 could be anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks or so, just depending. But it really depends on the data and how clean it is. Will determine sort of how fast we'll be able to move from phase 1 to phase 2. And that's really kind of the checkpoint of the data and the validity of the responses, of the AI. And to your point, Sam, about you can rely on your agents to provide feedback, right, to the teams, and you also see it in adoption as well, right? Agents aren't going to use summaries, and they're not going to use contextual data that's given to them if it's not accurate, if it's not clean. And so again, it really comes back to the data to kind of determine how quickly you can move into phase 2, where you're actually producing tasks and things like that agents can then make decisions on.
Clean data. Who knew? It always comes back to clean data.
Absolutely.
So this next question, it might seem obvious to you, but to some of us, we need it spelled out for us. Why is it important to have a strategic plan for AI rollout in the first place? Why should any of us care about this?
Yeah, for sure. So I think, and this is kind of maybe looking back the last couple of years with the evolution of AI, but it is a new technology. It's a new way of kind of thinking and working. And so, without a strategic plan in place, it can go many different directions, and it's very easy to get off track if you're not following a very prescriptive plan and approach. And so I think that's the key to having, a strategic success plan is to making sure things stay on the rails. And then again, back to the success criteria, each phase of your journey, you should be very prescriptive in how you're measuring success. And if you're falling short, come up with an action plan to address those items before you move on to the next phase.
Plan of attack. I love it. So putting all this together, wrapping it up, if you had one key takeaway that if people don't remember anything else, they remember this thing, what would it be, Ryan?
Yeah, I think the number one thing is to have a prescriptive approach to how you're deploying AI across your technology stack and in your contact center. The plan is number one. A big part of that plan is clean data, right? So you have to make sure that you have clean data in order to follow this plan. And then last but not least, establishing a way to measure the impact in the business.
Love it. I'm going to make us shirts that say clean data plus impact, and then we can just wear them like twinsies.
Love it. Love it.
Thank you so much, Ryan. This has been so incredibly helpful. The framework that you've built out, I love it. It makes me really excited. And I'm really excited every time you get to put it into use with one of our customers. So thank you again for sharing your expertise. And also thank you to our audience for tuning in. If you'd like to learn more about Kustomer's AI offerings, all you have to do is schedule a demo at the link in the description here. Thank you all, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.